Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have, for years, stood at the pinnacle of Hollywood stardom. Their relationship seemed airtight, their careers unstoppable, and their public image carefully curated to project the perfect balance of glamour, wit, and relatability. Yet beneath that polished exterior, an unsettling series of controversies has cracked the golden facade. A baffling lawsuit filed by co-star and director Justin Baldoni, rumors of on-set power plays, and whispered allegations of manipulative PR tactics now swarm around the couple. Suddenly, the same media that once adored them is questioning their every move, leaving fans to wonder if this is the beginning of a very public downfall. What exactly went wrong for Hollywood's golden couple? How did the squeaky-clean image of Blake Lively unravel, and how has Ryan Reynolds, once beloved for his comedic charm, become tied up in a tangle of accusations and reputational damage? The revelations are piling up, and each new twist raises even more alarming questions. Strap in, because the story ahead reveals far more than a simple Hollywood disagreement. For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds embodied the fairy tale vision of a celebrity union. They had picture-perfect red carpet appearances, viral social media banter that delighted fans, and a network of powerful industry friends to reinforce their superstar status. Whenever they stepped in front of the cameras, they seemed impeccably coordinated. Ryan with his playful sarcasm, and Blake radiating movie star elegance. In many ways, they were the envy of fans and colleagues alike. While celebrity marriages often crumble under scrutiny, these two appeared unbreakable. They attended each other's film premieres, supported each other's ventures, and even joked publicly about petty spats that made them look charmingly down-to-earth. If you asked Hollywood insiders a few years ago, they might have said that nothing could tarnish the unstoppable brand that was Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. But somewhere in the background, the cracks had already begun to form. Industry whispers hinted at tensions no one dared voice in public. Some said Blake was a perfectionist behind the scenes, controlling every detail of her personal and professional life with iron determination. Others speculated that Ryan's smiling persona concealed a more calculating side, particularly when it came to negotiations and on-set decision-making. At the time, these hints were easy to dismiss as typical Hollywood gossip. No one suspected that the bubble would eventually burst. And when it did, the aftershock would be felt not just by their devoted fans, but across the entire entertainment landscape. While many pinpoint the start of the current meltdown to the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's novel It Ends With Us, the real trouble began when actor-director Justin Baldoni joined forces with Blake Lively for the film. At first, it seemed like an odd pairing. Justin, known for his earnest mission to dismantle toxic masculinity, and Blake, often celebrated as a champion of female empowerment. Yet, from a studio perspective, the collaboration promised a fresh spin on a sensitive subject: domestic violence, wrapped in star power. Things took a turn when social media posts and set rumors painted an entirely different picture. Reports popped up suggesting that the marketing campaign, shaped heavily by Blake, ignored the very theme of domestic abuse that made the novel a bestseller. Instead of focusing on the serious nature of the storyline, early teasers came off as lighthearted or even frivolous. Fans and critics alike blasted the approach as tone-deaf. It didn't help that old interviews of Blake circulated online around the same time, showing her allegedly brushing off co-stars and being short with reporters. At first, these might have been dismissed as random misunderstandings, but the chatter grew so loud that everyone began to connect the dots. Suddenly, a wave of negative publicity surrounded It Ends With Us. Then came the bombshell. Justin Baldoni filed a lawsuit claiming defamation, smear campaigns, and manipulative tactics aimed at tarnishing his professional reputation. The core of his argument was that Blake orchestrated a hush-hush PR assault to blame him, and only him, for the messy pre-release fiasco. Legal documents pointed to text messages, suspicious media leaks, and contradictory statements. Within days, the story exploded. The world was no longer discussing a sappy novel adaptation. It was reevaluating the entire Hollywood aura of Blake Lively. As the lawsuit took center stage, the rumor mill went into overdrive. Anonymous insiders insisted that Ryan Reynolds may have contributed to Justin Baldoni's troubles by using his clout to get him sidelined at talent agency WME. Others went further, alleging that Ryan had a history of pushing people to their limits on set. Yet, perhaps the most jaw-dropping claims involved Blake's purported behind-the-scenes maneuvering. According to some sources, she meticulously cultivated her own narrative, painting Justin Baldoni as a controlling and even vindictive figure. Online discussions buzzed with half-verified receipts, snippets of text messages, blurred screenshots of alleged production notes, or hearsay from set assistants. People outside the entertainment world struggled to piece together which accusations held water and which were purely sensational. Meanwhile, fans who once saw the couple as comedic sweethearts began asking uncomfortable questions. If Blake and Ryan were truly the kind, genuine souls they claimed to be, why were so many troubling stories coming to light? Why were producers, journalists, and even some close associates hinting that the couple could be ruthless behind closed doors? The shape of their image was warping. Each new rumor or leaked detail stoked a tidal wave of skepticism. Even those still on Team Blake or Team Ryan had to reckon with the possibility that the golden duo might not be so untouchable after all. What truly amplified the crisis was how quickly the industry seemed to turn on Blake, especially once the lawsuit went public. Overnight, the actress, who was once admired by co-stars for her grace and comedic flair, was painted as a mean girl. Old stories began to resurface, depicting her as dismissive towards certain cast members and frosty with the media. Even more damaging were claims that many of her high-profile friendships weren't genuine. One particularly revealing accusation concerned her public camaraderie with actress Michelle Trachtenberg, which was allegedly nothing more than a performative display for press and fan communities. In reality, insiders claimed, Michelle couldn't stand working with Blake, citing her controlling attitude and tendency to show up late to set. Meanwhile, social media erupted with fans sharing every snippet of Blake's past interviews that could be interpreted as snobbish or unkind. In the digital age, the phrase, "the internet never forgets," rings painfully true. Within days, a montage of old Blake Lively clips, once brushed off as harmless, now formed a narrative of haughtiness and condescension. Hollywood, sensing the shift in public opinion, began to distance itself. Invitations to high-profile events, once guaranteed, were suddenly in question. A-listers who once fawned over Blake and Ryan on red carpets offered polite no comments or swiftly changed the subject when pressed for details. For the couple, this was more than bad press. It was a full-scale reputational meltdown that threatened to undo years of meticulous branding. While much of the spotlight initially focused on Blake's alleged manipulations, Ryan Reynolds found himself dragged into the fray as well. Evidence emerged, or was at least rumored, suggesting that he'd tried to use his Hollywood influence to oust Justin Baldoni from their shared talent agency, WME. According to some accounts, Ryan leveraged favors, quietly discouraging projects that might advance Baldoni's career. For a figure long beloved for his wit and philanthropic gestures, this shift in perception was jarring. Audiences started revisiting times when Ryan's humor might have been cutting rather than playful. They wondered if the nice guy image was no more than a carefully orchestrated marketing angle. Behind the scenes, film executives reportedly expressed hesitation about attaching Ryan to major new projects until this scandal blew over. The carefully balanced house of cards, where Ryan's comedic roles and Blake's fashionable presence turned them into red carpet royalty, was wobbling. Their reputations, inseparably tied, were under siege from multiple angles. Supporters still hoped that once the truth came out, their favorite couple would be vindicated. But detractors insisted the real truth was already on full display. That power, PR illusions, and behind-the-scenes bullying had always been part of the Reynolds Lively brand. None of this is to say Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are definitively finished in Hollywood. Massive stars have weathered storms before and come out the other side. But the magnitude of these accusations, ranging from mean girl behavior to sabotage through industry connections, cannot be dismissed as mere tabloid drama. Their lawsuit against Justin Baldoni has opened the floodgates, allowing old controversies, hidden stories, and credible rumors to converge into a whirlwind that even top-tier crisis managers are struggling to contain. In the end, the biggest question remains: is this the beginning of a permanent downfall, or can they pull off a miraculous turnaround? If the couple manages to clear their names and prove that many of these allegations are overblown or manipulated, they might rebuild their empire stronger than ever. After all, Hollywood loves a comeback story. But if the lawsuit drags on and more unsavory details emerge, If Blake's alleged PR manipulations are backed up by concrete evidence, or if Ryan is definitively connected to questionable set incidents, then public trust will be difficult to regain. For the fans who once adored them, the disillusionment is already setting in. For industry friends who quietly cut ties, this may feel like self-preservation. And for the world at large, it's another reminder that even the most revered stars can fall from grace when carefully curated illusions collide with uncomfortable truths. For now, all anyone can do is watch and wait. The wheels of Hollywood turn quickly, and whether we see a final downfall or a dramatic redemption arc, this scandal will be etched into the narrative of Tinseltown for years to come. One thing is certain: the myth of the perfect couple has cracked wide open, and only time will tell if those fractures can ever be repaired, or if the entire structure comes tumbling down for good.